Welcome to In My Opinion 4, The Witch and the 100 Knight Revival Edition. In The Will of Medea, you play as a legendary 100 Knight summoned by the self-proclaimed Great Swamp Witch Metalia to do her bidding. What's her bidding? Well, it's to release pillars to spread her lovely noxious swamp all over the world, expanding her territory and making everyone know she is indeed the greatest witch of them all, taking down anyone who stands in her way. Yeah, you're playing as a villain in this title. The story is great and has a pretty dark sense of humor.
You did this to yourself, Duchess.
We'll make you scream with joy! It's our chance to thank you for everything, you f***ing slave driver!
Though it's not all dark, as there are some genuine touching moments in the game.
Well, I'm very happy that you came here to see me, Metalia.
What are you trying to say? You're just some unwanted mutt.
You would think Metalia would be some one-note evil character going muhahaha.
The mightiest witch of all, Swamp Witch Metalia.
However, things are not as simple as they seem, and by the end, hopefully, she will become one of your favorites, as was the case for me. There's also some other characters such as Arlecchino, her ever-loyal butler who loves to throw insults here and there.
Too much of a punk, of a grand individual to live as other fairies do.
Visco, the Cursed Inquisitor, who doesn't really have the best of luck.
She seems competent enough.
And much more.
She skipped out on the entire party this year.
Anyway, shut up, Belda!
I will admit, some will find certain chapters feeling like filler, like Metalia getting sick or helping the bug to get closer to the one she loves, but it never came off that way for me. You feel like you were getting to know these people in the world of living much more, even if the chapter itself wasn't that epic. You will be sucked into this world and its cast of characters, walking away rather satisfied. That is if you get the right ending. Yup, there are multiple endings in this game, 3 to be exact. I'll give you a bit of advice. The cutoff point is the 11th chapter, and go for the bad ending. Just trust me.
But this is just the beginning. This is a small step, but I'm well on my way towards showing the world just how powerful I am.
This one is an isometric action JRPG. Think of something in the lines of Diablo. You'll be killing countless amounts of enemies, picking up better equipment, and leveling up along the way. There are 5 types of weapons: swords, staves, hammers, lances, and spears. These weapons have their own attributes such as slash for swords and magic for staves, with some special cases where weapons having different attributes such as swords for magic and hammers for slash. This is important since each enemy has their own weaknesses, so while using magic on a certain enemy would just tickle them, it would devastate others, making you customize weapons to the situation. Luckily, the game lets you make 3 different weapon sets that you can switch on the fly. You may have noticed these yellow dots next to the weapons. These go from 1 to 5. If you go in order, your chain multiplier goes up, making for a more powerful combo chain. There's also a stamina meter you gotta keep your eyes on, represented by the yellow circle when you're either attacking or running around. This sets your limit on how many times you can attack in a row. If you don't let it rest, you'll just be swinging once at a time. Also, if you try to run when it's out, you will bust your ass, leaving you stunned and open for an attack. What's pretty helpful in combat is your AP, which is one of those little bars on the upper left screen. With this, you can deliver stronger attacks, but most importantly, dodging at the right time activates Mystical Dodge, leaving your enemies wide open for some damage. This is definitely helpful when facing bosses or when you feel overwhelmed by the enemies. There's also another bar above there that's pretty important, and it's called the Giga Cow. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Basically, your timer. Every move you make decreases it. Clearing the fog from the map and regenerating health makes it decrease even faster. If it hits 0, your health starts to go down and you become overall weaker. Another way to use this in cows is go into Chaos Relation mode, which boosts up your power, defense, and AP. However, this will drain your cow pretty fast, so it's more of a last resort move. Normally, getting killed just makes you respawn at a pillar, losing an item and some cow. Now, without no cow, you lose all your items and 50% of your XP you gain. There are consumables that can help you get some cow back. You also have the option to eat enemies as well, which takes up space in your inventory. Thankfully, you can increase your stomach space with stones you find and carry it up with other items. Now the last way to get some cow back is from all the mini pillars you've been releasing. You probably noticed by fighting enemies you've been collecting grade points. These can be used at the pillar to give a boost to HP, AP, attack, defense, bonus points, TP, and cow. Just remember, these boosts are temporary, and once you leave the level, they go away. The pillars can also be used as warp points in exiting the level, which allows you to collect all the XP and goodies you've collected. Since I mentioned bonus points, I might as well touch on that. For each kill, you get 10 bonus points. Reaching 100 nabs you an extra item. You can always check what items are available as it changes each time you enter a level. You also get a little bing notification each time you get a new item. One of the other little features in combat is the emotions. Yeah, apparently the enemies have feelings now. Depending on the situation in combat, you can end up scaring an enemy to death, make them fall in love with you, thus they don't attack you, and lastly, you can really piss them off, which increases their attack. The combat overall is enjoyable, it's responsive, and never feels cheap, especially with the ways you can temporarily level up, which comes in handy when you don't have the right gear at the right time. It also helps as a functioning lockout system. Even with the timer, you never feel like you're being rushed since there's many ways to manage it, and if you screw up, you have yourself to blame. The game does have a big focus on loot dropping and item management, so that may turn some off. Playing through the game, you'll be introduced to Tuchka. These are little summons that can be found in the chests in the world, with some being given to you while advancing in the story. They can be helpful during combat if things get a bit hectic, to capture monsters for items, but more importantly, they can be used to get past more areas around the level. Just remember, you can't spam them, but you can temporarily improve them thanks to the mini pillars. There's also these things called facettes. These are basically 100 Knights outfits, each with their own stats and 2 special skills. This is where all your XP will be going to, improving them little by little. Just be aware that your main one gets all the XP, while the other 2 subs you pick will net only 33% of your XP. Just like your weapon sets, these can be switched on the fly. And like the Tuchka, you gain most of them by playing through the story. While out in the field, you run to villages. Here you can talk to people and even ransack their houses, getting some goodies. Just be sure you're the right level, or else they'll just kick ass right out, causing you major damage. You can revisit already dominated houses for an HP pick-me-up. Just a little warning, the more you ransack houses, the higher your karma goes up, which in turn makes the townspeople pissed off, making them want to end your life. Now during the story mode, there are moments when you get to choose your reaction, which is called self-assertion. The only real time it has any major effect is causing you to get certain endings. Besides that, all you get is different responses from characters, and that's really it. When you're not out there killing stuff, you'll be at your hub in Metalia Swamp. Here you can go in her house, and this can trigger little scenes, and you can check the helpful tutorial if you're confused about some of the game mechanics. Though most importantly, you can check out the bucket list, which lets you spend anima, those little purple things enemies drop, to get new Tochka, facets, lower your karma, help speed up the process of upgrading your equipment instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, and more. You're always allowed to go back to any of the levels in the game. Just look at the world map and pick. There's even a little meter letting you know we really looked at every little nook and cranny of said level. The big new addition to this re-release is the tower mode. You can start this whenever you want. The tower itself has 100 floors and a basement level you can unlock after beating it. When you go in, you have to sacrifice weapons, and depending on said weapons, the chances of better drops increase along with the enemy's strength. You now can also use alchemy to improve your equipment more. Just need an item, a sacrifice, and one of the alchemy drops, and bam, stronger than ever. Now the tower would be okay just like this. You know, a little something extra, but they added something that made it worth playing more. An actual story. The tower mode takes place in different dimensions, so you will see a lot of familiar faces, but with different backgrounds. The basic premise is that Metalia climbs up the tower to receive a grand reward. A wish, no matter what, will be granted. The climb up the tower reveals more about this world's cast and lore, making you not want to stop and push forward. Oh, there's also the fact that you can now play as Metalia, as long as you gain enough mana. It's just temporary though, as each time you get to a new floor, you gotta gather mana again. The game itself looks pretty good. I mean, it's clear it's not a game built up for the PS4, but it's still vibrant, colorful, and while you will be seeing a few forest levels, it does have a nice spread of other areas, like a fancy castle, mountains, underground ruins, and more. The cutscenes are presented in two ways, one being 3D models which look okay, and having anime stills which are nicely drawn and expressive. The character designs themselves are unique, making everyone stand out, with Natalia being a personal favorite. We are also treated to some great voice acting, and if you're not a fan of the English dub, this owes to Japan audio.
Hey, aren't they making too much? What do they do if they have leftovers?
The game runs fine, as I never experienced any slowdown in the frame rate. One of the problems, however, is the camera. There are moments that it feels like the game is working against you, as you are partially or fully blind thanks to the camera. Stupid leaves will get in your way, and even walls can interfere. It's not a constant problem, but the times it does happen are just annoying. Another thing, though this may just be nitpicky, is there are times when the mouths of the stills move and times it doesn't. It doesn't kill immersion or anything, it's just an odd visual thing. Lastly, there was this huge issue with the PS3 release of the game. Some sort of bug that would delete your save. I put in a lot of hours in this game, and while I did hear some still ran into this problem with the PS4 version, I personally never did.
I won't forget that slight.
This one was a great experience. The story just sucked you in with some good twists and turns. Hell, there were even some touching moments to go with the more downer and funny ones. Not to mention the enjoyable cast of characters with great voice work.
I'll come over and we can play.
The combat itself was enjoyable as well and worked just right, never feeling cheap or sluggish. I spent around 87 hours on the game, and there's replay value with 3 different endings, and the 100 floor tower with its own story and basement section. There is a new Game Plus option that lets you bring the majority of the equipment for another run as well. The game does, however, suffer from an annoying camera at times, and gets this crazy spike in difficulty when you reach the last 2 chapters. That aside, I think this game is worth your time. So come on down and help Natalia spread her vile swamp around the world. You might enjoy it. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.
They are quite splendid to behold, yes.